Hello, good morning or good evening or good afternoon, wherever it is that you are. Here it's 9 o'clock in the morning behind the mountains, and it's already something like 25 degrees centigrade, so very warm, and I feel fully justified in wearing my shorts. So this is a channel update, as you do. Both a fleet update, this is a fleet of one. Here are my 2010 Citroen C5 X7 Tourer, and also going to be an update on the channel itself and stuff on the channel. So please bear with. First off, my lovely C5. I really like this car, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have made a channel more or less centered around it. But it needs some work done. There's some kind of bearing issue, I believe. As I go along, I can hear this rumbling noise that's constant. Well, actually, I should say it's not constant. It rises, you know, it becomes louder with speed. And it has nothing to do with the engine speed or, you know, gear change or anything like that. So I think it's a bearing, but I'm going to take it to my mechanic. It's not something that I feel confident in doing myself. Anything that involves wheels coming off, I don't think is a good idea that I do the fettling part, because I have no axle stands. I have no kind of specialist equipment like, you know, spring compressors, which of course you don't need on a Citroen C5 X7 Tourer with hydroactive suspension, because there are no springs. Sounds a bit silly, but yeah, that is, in that respect also, the fact that it has hydropneumatic suspension, I think warrants taking it to a specialist. So I'm going to take it in for that. Also, there's been a bushing issue. The bushings, I think, on the driver's side, of course, you know, left side, because we're in Portugal, that needs a looking at as well. It's been driving me mad for ages. And I don't know, I would like to have polyurethane bushings on this car. I think it's fully justified. I had polyurethane bushings on, or bushings is American, I don't know. I had polyurethane bushes put on my Volvo S60. Everyone said that the ride is harsher. I didn't really notice at all. Hand on heart. Now, even if the ride is harsher, putting it on a Citroen with hydropneumatic suspension makes all the sense in the world. You know why? Because the ride is already fantastically comfortable. So if you reduce that comfort even just slightly, which I think will be the case with polyurethane bushes, you'll be fine. It's comfortable enough to be able to take the hit, if that makes sense. And then I'd never have to worry about blooming bushings ever again. The thing is, I don't know if a car like this, which is, you know, a bit niche in all honesty, I don't know how many units they sold, but probably not that many. But if there were polyurethane bushes for this car and they're readily available, they're going on. By the way, if anyone does know of polyurethane bushes for this car kits, let me know in the comments. I haven't looked it up yet, but this is something that I thought while I was on the way here to film. Beautiful place, as you can see. Hopefully you can see. Someone once said that the places that I'm filming, look like dogging areas, which is very apt, because dogging areas and where I want to film converge rather neatly. One of the reasons that I always pick these areas is because I don't get interrupted. Everyone has a garage or a yard or something where they can film. I don't. I have to like find these very remote areas. In fact, for example, one of the reasons that I don't take the wheels off the car and do fettling is because where I live, and if you've been on the channel before, you must have seen my garage. It's full of cars, lots of people. Not one single person who lives there ever fettles with their car. Not one. No one even swaps a bulb out. They'll pay someone to do it. And this is like, this boggles the mind. When I was a kid in England, I mean, I remember perfectly well, my dad was the #1 fettler on the entire street. When I went back a couple of years after I moved to Portugal, all the neighbours asked, every single one of them asked if my dad still fixed cars like he used to in England, because it could be like, you know, a foot of snow and he'd be under the car fixing things and asking neighbours for help, and yeah, he'd scrounge stuff. God, it's a bit embarrassing. But anyway, the guy across the road, Branko, he was from what was then Yugoslavia, and I remember him. It was having a Ford Cortina. It was a lovely, I think it was a lovely Ford Cortina estate, and I remember him fixing the car. Len as well. You get the idea. It was very common to fettle back then. Maybe because it was the 80s, I don't know, but not here. So I'm the only one who does that in my garage, and it's not because I feel embarrassed or anything. That's silly, because as you see, I already fettle in my garage, despite my neighbours not doing so themselves. I don't care. I think it's stupid paying someone to do something that you can do. But it's because they will come up to me and begin to chat and ask things and stuff like that. And I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't. I hate people. I really do. It's just so annoying, especially, you know, small talk. Oh, what are you doing in the car? Look, I'm manhandling the Fondonglo. What's it to you? They probably don't even know what the hell I'm doing in the car if I was to tell them. Yes, I'm actually trying to adjust the hydropneumatic struts. That wouldn't be something I do. But if I told them that, they'd go, "Ooh, really?" Yeah, small talk. I hate it. So, I've already gone completely off topic here. I was talking about things I'm going to fix in the car. The other thing that I need to take care of, basically, is the door card on the passenger side. Now, ever since I bought the car nearly 3 years ago, this particular exemplar, there's been a sort of a rattling noise coming from the passenger side, somewhere around here. And I can't tell where, because this only happens at speed above 100 kph, or about 60 miles an hour. Now, when I asked my wife, look, can you please try to hear and locate where the noise is coming from? She says, I'm too deaf for that. And it's true, she is a bit deaf and she can never hear anything coming from this side. And it's not that loud. If I've got music on, you can't hear it, but I don't know where it's from. Now, I've already been under the bonnet trying to see if it was the tubing, the pipes that carry water from one place to another, you know, in terms of washer fluid, etc. I think you get the idea. And actually I can show you from there, I think, if it's visible. But I have been trying to locate where the issue is, and I thought it could be these pipes. These pipes are rattling against the bonnet and they're making this noise. So can you see that grey stuff? That's like this padding I put around the pipe, and see if it was that. It wasn't, of course. It wasn't. It wouldn't have been. That would have been too easy. Yeah, fate doesn't like me enough to make things easy, so it wasn't that. So I thought maybe it's inside the door, and that's very possible, because I found out when I took that mirror apart. There's one video where I take it apart. It's my most viewed video with about 300,000 views. You know, and then I get like 100 views for subsequent videos, which is fun. But when I took this apart, the actual mirror glass and other components were from 2014. And this car's from 2010, which means that this must have had some kind of accident. And like the door was replaced, or bits of the door were replaced. And when I took the door card off, I took it off yesterday, I did notice there had been bodgery going on. I can see the person who fixed that really didn't do a very good job, in all honesty. So I'm going to have a look at that in the future. I took the door card off just to have a look around, and I managed to break some of the clips, which is normal because it's a 15-year-old car. And even if, for example, the door card was taken off and all replaced, all the clips were replaced in 2014, that's still 11 years. So it's enough time for those plastic clips to have dried out and become brittle. So I've already ordered some replacements. So yeah, when the replacements come, that's when I'm gonna do something in relation to that noise. Yeah, I really would like to get to the bottom of that. It's just so annoying. It's a small thing, but I'm so annoyed by small noises, like the wheel bearing thing. Yeah. So that's the car. As for the channel, I've also decided to change some things. Now, I've never done this channel to be a professional YouTuber or to make money at all. That's never been my objective. I've got some grass poking into me. I made this channel at the very beginning to try to give back something to the Citroën community. I've been part of various communities over the years. There was the LPG community when I had my Volvo. They're a bunch of c***s. They're not helpful and they're snarky bastards, and I hate them. At least the Portuguese LPG community. The Volvo community, they were lovely, but I never really got much help from them because I didn't ask. I didn't really fettle much with my S60. I had little children at the time, so it was very hard for me to find time to actually, muck around with a car. Then I had the Mazda community. Didn't have the Mazda long enough for me to actually form an opinion on the Mazda community. Citroën community, wonderful, lovely people. They're brilliant people. I like them a lot. I've got lots of friends who comment here on the channel. At least I feel they're my friends. If you are one of those regular commenters, thank you so much, honestly, from the heart. I love having your feedback, everything, every single one of you. You're marvelous. And, you know, on the French car forum, there's Mark, who is like, you know, the master Yoda of Citroen, if that makes sense. He's brilliant. It's been fantastic, and I wanted to give something back. So I thought to myself, if I document my fixes, then, you know, it might help some of the Citroen community who've never done that before. Documenting my fixes also meant that I had a reference for myself in the future when I wanted to do the same fix again, if that makes sense. And it actually did come in handy, because I had another Citroen C5 before this one, and there are things that I fixed on that car that I've had to repeat on this car. For example, the removing the rear spoiler. That was very handy to have that documented. So there's that. And also decided to add the vlog part to the channel. You know, me driving along, driving places and filming that. It's not something that appeals to many people. My videos of me driving around have pitiful views. They're awful. But personally, they're nice. I do like to rewatch them myself. They're good, you know, they're like a diary of where I was some time ago. And that's the thing. This channel was never made for the views, really. It really wasn't. But in recent times, you know, things haven't been actually very agreeable when it comes to finances. And, well, because I bought a house in the country. I was stupid enough to do that, and that's basically sucked up all my money. So I'm broke now. So I'm trying to get some extra income, and YouTube pays money. It doesn't pay much. Like, there's a threshold of 70 euros. If you go over that threshold, you get paid. If you go under, it accumulates for the following month. So sometimes I don't even qualify to get paid those 70 euros. Sometimes I do. And so I'm trying to at least grow the channel enough to have a more or less constant stream of money coming in. Even if it's very little, every cent helps. Every euro helps right now. That's how I'm feeling. That's my situation. God, there are flies everywhere. It's the summertime. It's actually the second day of summer, I think, today. Where was I? Oh yeah, so I'm trying to find a way of making the channel a bit more appealing. What I've decided to do is to make the Comfortable Car Club the channel for fettling, you know, for tinkering, as Mr. Hubnut would say, and driving diaries. Of course, now that I mentioned Mr. Hubnut, he was the main inspiration for this channel. You know, but that's basically his channel. His channel is his adventures behind the wheel, his tinkering and reviews. I don't have the reviews part, and in all honesty, I don't think I could. That seems to be a bit too time hungry for me, you know. Trying to juggle job and doing reviews, I think, would be a bit too much. But yeah, that's sort of going to be Comfortable Car Club. Just those two things: the fettling, the fixing, etc., and the driving diaries. So probably content will be a bit sparse. I'll try to, you know, I don't know, I'll try to make things happen, but we'll see. And then I'm going to have another channel for all those weird, like, documentary sort of things that I do every now and then. And that's the main thing. This channel's content has been very inconsistent. You know, I've got a video where I sort of 3D print a new tray. And then the next video is sort of like an opinion piece on why I think EVs are going to be a big fat pain in the backside, or why Tesla's are going to go bust. So that's a bit jarring, you know. You watch, even for me, I watch my channel, I think, Jesus Christ, these things are so different in tone and everything. And I don't think that's very appealing. So in all honesty, I think it's best to keep these things separate. Of course, that does mean restarting a channel, and that does mean also trying to get to the threshold of 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours viewed to be able to monetize the channel. But I better start now then and see if that happens, because I would like to make this channel a teeny little bit more successful. Just a bit. By the way, there is the merchandising as well. I have like t-shirts and mugs and things like that. Again, that was something that I thought would be good, because I think that the Citroen C5 community would appreciate that, because there's nothing for us. Nothing. No one ever has any kind of t-shirts or anything for C5s. At least not the X7 generation. So I thought that would be a good idea, but it hasn't really worked. I've sold 2 t-shirts since I put the store back online, so it's not going well. But anyway, that's my fault. I've got to make appealing stuff. So thanks for those who did buy things, by the way. Anyway, that's enough for this channel. Sorry, it's enough for this video, I should say. And I'll keep you up to date. And when another channel does launch, I will, of course, tell you and ask you to subscribe and all of that stuff. So thanks very much for watching. Again, don't forget, there is the merchandising. And on screen, I'm going to leave you with a couple of videos you can watch if you like. And I bid you all farewell. See you in the next video.